The following is a compLexity production.
1, 2, 3, compLexity!
This is the press conference, streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Oh, you cannot be serious, man!
You've got questions, we've got answers. And now, your hosts, compLexity.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the press conference where you're going to get the answers you wouldn't get anywhere else in esports. My name is Zach, content manager for compLexity Gaming. And over here to my right, as always, is a beautiful beef.
That's me.
Yeah.
I guess.
It is. That's
all I've got. It's been a day.
One of many names. One of the many hats you wear. How's it going, beef? You going to make it?
It's still been a day.
Over across the table is Fantasy.
Greetings.
That's it. That's the only name you got.
Yeah.
It's the only name you need.
Only name I need.
And the special guest we have over across from me is Scott Ford.
How's it going, guys? I heard we needed some energy today, so
He gets two names.
I really should have had some coffee. I need energy. Nice beard, by the way.
thank you, sir.
My beard's coming back, slowly but surely. So
All right, wake up, boys.
I'm very proud of it. All right, everyone. Let's just take a deep breath. Let's get the energy going. Because we're going to start talking about right now, as we're all really excited as we build towards Katowice. We're going to be talking CSGO as always.
Woo!
So right now, CSGO is
Somewhere
at
in Europe.
Frankfurt, right?
Correct.
Is that how you pronounce it? Frankfurt, Germany.
Yeah.
Boot camping right now. Beef, what have you heard about the boot camp? How's the boot camp going? How's everything?
Yeah, I mean, they've been over there for 3 days now-ish, 2-3 days, something like that. I don't know.
There's 5.
I don't know if you gain or lose days going to Europe. Pretty sure
you lose one.
days. So they've been there for 2 days. And it seems like they've been doing pretty good. Haven't heard any emergencies. So that's really a good boot camp, essentially, if you're 2 days in, and I haven't gotten any calls saying, so a bit of an emergency. That's really all I've got.
Yes, I haven't heard from Sean either, the videographer that's out there with him. Usually he calls me, he's like, hey, this is going on, or this has been going on. I got one call from him saying they're on a strict training schedule.
Yep.
Hasn't been a lot to film other than them training, which is a good thing. So that's all pretty much what we have. And then we had recently, right before they left for boot camp, they had the IEM Sydney qualifiers. Soren, what happened with IEM Sydney qualifiers?
We lost
Yes.
twice. First, we lost to, I think, Swole Patrol 2-1, I want to say.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you. Did you print out the bracket this time?
No, but I studied it.
No. I didn't prepare anything for this. But yeah, we lost to Swole Patrol, and then I think we lost to LG.
Correct.
I like having my fact checker here. I don't know what to say about it.
It's just the land they is one of those, I guess, another stepping stone they had on their way to Katowice, and hopefully, they're at the boot camp.
It's still the new lineup getting.
It just all
together.
builds up.
You know, we had a rough iBuy Power tournament just playing. Atlanta was our first chance to play together, and so we're still building. So this is the whole reason we're in Frankfurt for Poland we're still working out these kinks, and come next week, we're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things is we've discussed with this team that roles have swapped around a number of times within the team. Anytime that you're forming a new group of players, you need to find that identity. And especially bringing in people that play similar roles, like Nothing and Def have played kind of similar roles, and then Def and Ricky have played similar roles, and everybody's trying to kind of find their footing within the team. And last time we saw a lot of great things happen in just under a 2-week boot camp in Europe prior to the major, and we're hoping that same thing happens. The quality of practice is generally very high in Europe leading up to these, and we're really hoping we can turn it around, because last week losing to Swole Patrol, and I mean, it's certainly not something that's ideal. We expect more out of that team.
Yeah. And also talking about bringing a new roster together as we talk about Dota.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're switching over. We're going to be talking about Dota. Soren, you've been spending a lot of time with Dota as we've gone through many different qualifiers. We've had Dream League, we've had ESL, we've had a lot of different ones come up. Do you want to give us the update currently right now with Dota?
Well, it's basically what Beef just said about Counter-Strike is true for our Dota team as well. We've gone to a new roster. We haven't really had practice with this roster due to visa issues and the Christmas break and other tournament schedule issues. So they're still working it out. We played the major qualifier with a stand-in because Adam couldn't play with us from Malaysia. So Jaren was flown in. Monkeys Forever helped us out. We looked good in stretches. I felt we gave Forward Gaming and a good fight in the group stage. We pushed J Storm really far on a 3-game series to barely miss out on the upper bracket. But yeah, we came up short in the deciding game against Forward once again. Jaren then flew back, qualified for the minor with a different stack and played us in the first round, which was nice. We beat Jaren's team, Mason, CCNC, and those boys. Had a good day one, beating team as well, and then kind of I don't know what happened on day two when it was a rough game one against Envy.
Yeah, Envy's stack. I mean, they were looking good. I think any time that you're going into a grand final and you've won 4-0 in the upper bracket, and then there's no advantage coming from the upper bracket. You don't have a game advantage. You don't have a bracket reset. Nothing. And it's just a straight best of 3. The team that's coming from the lower bracket, there's a certain level of momentum that you build up by winning that momentum in that first match. You're coming in hot. You're coming in warmed up. I think that they came in really warm that day. And you can do your best like we did to try to get some scrims in earlier that day and to try to warm up in that matter. But the Envy stack, they came in and they played really, really well. We had a big advantage in game 1, but we always knew with that draft that if you're going late game, it's going to be rather difficult with a life stealer going up against Tiny Lone Druid.
Yeah.
And it went, almost 90 minutes, 80 plus?
It's 79.
79.
It
went late.
What do we think right now as they prepare to go to Katowice? What do we think the biggest things they're going to be doing as a team to prepare?
I mean, we're having scrims now. Adam is in Europe currently, or is already in Europe. We're going to join him soon once we fly out to Katowice. Then we have 2 days in Katowice. So basically, it's very similar to what we did with the last ESL 1 event that we've been to with ESL 1 Hamburg, where Scam had issues. And basically, us arriving in Hamburg was the first time we had practice with the team. So it's going to be fairly similar. The team has a chance now to practice with Adam because EU ping is not that tricky. I think it's like 80 or 90. He's a 5-position player. You can work that out. Limp used to do that as well back in the days when he had visa issues. Basically, just visa issues is the Dota one that we run into here. But yeah, we're gonna scrim some NA teams, some South American teams, some EU teams maybe, and then we're going to go over there and hopefully get out of groups, get to play at Spodek. That's what it's all about.
It's gonna be big.
It's a great arena to play in.
It could be a great week in Poland.
It's always a great week in Poland. It's a great country.
Who's all going to Poland? Is anyone from the staff going? I know Skim's going to be going.
I'm going.
You're going? Of course.
Soren, Jason, Skim, Sean, and that is all.
Cool. Well,
We're gonna have a small army over there.
Yeah, but make sure you guys follow. I know we're going to be posting a lot. I know we're going to be having Instagram stories going, constantly giving real updates. We're going to be able to have everything going from everything across from Twitter to Facebook. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that, as we're going to have kind of this huge convergence over in Katowice. Now we're talking about Rocket League. We're going to be talking about DreamHack coming up with Magnus, Greasy Meister, and Flakes.
That's true. I thought you just asking questions. I thought this
Yeah.
was the format of the show.
No, we're good.
Not just
I'm just
read
waiting for
out.
spoilers to pop up out of my mouth. What are our expectations, Scott, as we move into DreamHack for Rocket League?
So I don't know much about Flakes, to be completely honest. So for me to give my expectations, I'm not really sure, but I'm very excited for our Rocket League team to be competing again. Because just watching the team last season, even though we came up short, the energy and the excitement of watching Rocket League is something I love. So to see the compLexity flag back in the arena, I'm very excited to see that.
Scott, you want to play some Rocket League tonight? I feel like we haven't played in a long time.
We haven't played Rocket League in a while, so it's going to be good. We should play. I'm excited for the team. It's in Germany.
It's true.
There we go.
Soren's second favorite city of Leipzig. So
All right. Let's hear from the German. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
DreamHack Leipzig. First of all, are we saying it right? Normally we butcher the names of German cities.
Leipzig. Yeah.
Leipzig.
Excellent.
There's
We're the
really
best.
not a lot you can mess up there.
Leipzig.
Why? Jeez. Yeah, I mean, DreamHack is returning to Rocket League is the big news. I think they have 6 events. We made the first one. It's a little bit of a more complex format because while we're qualified, other teams can still show up for the Open. So, like, we're going to see our good friend a lot there.
Oh, wow.
Mouse is going to be there. Rogue sent their team. Splice sent their team.
Really?
Tainted Minds sent their team from Australia.
Australia? Mm-hmm. Wow.
EG, Savages, and all those, RLCS teams are going to be there, and they're going to be seated in the groups with the teams that are already qualified.
So it's almost like not really a CPL format, but it's almost like a 2013 DreamHack BYOC type format.
I mean, it's very similar to the old like pool play
Wow.
into whatever
MLG open
format.
bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So
That's awesome.
The way it's going to work, it's going to be 4 groups with 8 teams. Our group, as far as I'm aware, is TSMEG, Vitality, Polaris, Nordevent, Notorious, and MCon.
How many teams are in a group?
8 is what I just said.
Holy moly.
8
I didn't
teams.
hear that part.
8 teams, 4 groups. 4 make it out, and then you play another group stage with 8 teams. So it's like similar to like how Take TV does it, like 2 group stages, and then you go into playoffs. So out of every group stage, 4 teams make it. They get redistributed in a group. 4 teams make it out of that, and then you have an 8-team playoff, which is single elim. The group stages are double elim, basically like a big GSL format, sorta.
Moly.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Rocket League that we're going to play, and I'm excited to see our team. We've basically only really seen them in this qualifier to make it to this event, and outside of that, they've been scrimming, getting ready for all CS, all RS. Freudian slip. But yeah, I'm excited to see Flakes. The other teams are the other 2 guys praising him very much. He's a young guy, up and coming juggernaut. I don't know how to up and coming
Potential
superstar.
Let's just say the names in Rocket League are completely different than any other in esports. Like, you look at some of them, Flakes, Squishy Muffins. Like, I feel like they just have a completely different kind of total lightness to them. Like, I don't feel like Rocket League really cares. Rocket League just goes in a
They're
name
playing
generator.
soccer with cars, so
Yeah. What do you expect?
it
you go.
fits the scene.
And yeah, I'm stoked. This is gonna be great. Do you guys watch any other esport that gives you as much like anxiety as watching Rocket League? I feel like because it's so fast paced. Madden might be one of them. I feel like because it's so fast paced, like one little slip up, not getting a boost or something like that can easily cost a goal, which costs a game, which costs a series.
It's also because when you watch esports, you are very negative. So every double commit is basically a goal against us.
Yeah, it's a little scared.
So-
I like the speed, definitely.
It's fun.
Yeah. It's definitely not like kind of just like a big build up to like one big fight and then you got to build up again to it.
And it doesn't take an hour to finish the game,
Exactly. It's like 35 minutes for a BO5.
which is amazing.
Very nice.
Like Madden.
Well, perfect. Now, as we move on to the questioning and answers over here at the press conference. Make sure you guys take to Twitter, take to Discord, use the hashtag coLPC. Every single week, we're going to be answering your guys' questions. So this week, we're going to go ahead and start off with McNeirly off from Twitter. Visas have been a hot topic, sore subject for the past few weeks. Is there a specific aspect of the application that has proven problematic over the years?
Yeah,
I'm going to ask...
Government's being involved.
I'm going to ask Beef. Back to our magical segment here on the press conference. Visas.
Do you want me to take this?
I do not want you to take this, actually. So, I mean, visas, I think they're an issue for many, many different orgs, many different countries, many different games. You'll constantly hear about visa issues, whether it's the people traveling out of the CIS region or Mongols that were traveling for a CS major, or people traveling from Southeast Asia to try to go to TI. Every time they travel to the US for TI, they'd constantly have visa issues. And visas, they're a necessity, but they're difficult. And I think one of the biggest reasons that they're difficult is because governments do not operate at the speed of esports. Esports is like, oh, well, I have a player, I need him here in 2 weeks for an event. And the government's like, no, we need to do our due diligence. We need to make sure that this person has all the requirements for this visa. We need to make sure they're not going to be a threat to the country, all these different things. And you can try to do as much as you can to expedite it. And for somebody like us, we've worked with a law firm for over 5 years working with this. We were actually the first company in esports to get a working visa in the United States. So, I mean, we go about all the right steps, but there can still be delays sometimes. There can be requests for evidence. There can be just delays such as the government shutdown. Even though it did not stop the processing of visas, it certainly slowed them down a little bit. So there's things like that can just impact it. And especially when you're looking to do turnarounds that are quick, like you need them in esports, they can cause issues. Not to mention, once you're applying for them, they can't be in a country. They have to be somewhere where they can do an appointment on short notice. Those appointments might not be available in some countries for months at a time. So you might have to send them to a different country, but then that country maybe has visas as well, like we experienced with Canada, trying to get Adam to Canada, and the Canadian visa was delayed. So it's a whole issue.
It's a different bag of issues every time. It's never one consistent thing.
It is. And as I've talked with people in the space that are knowledgeable on this matter, basically what they say is that visa law has not necessarily caught up with where we are in the 21st century and the amount of movement that there is globally. And there certainly are things that need to be taken into account, primarily security, that have to be touched on. But right now, visas are slow. There's a report recently by a watchdog that does track the issuance of U.S. visas, and it's actually at 94%, at least according to this article, a 94% decrease in the speed at which visas were processed as opposed to a few years ago. They're calling it a crisis level when it comes to the issuance of these visas. And so that's why you're seeing a lot of orgs, including ourselves, struggle sometimes to bring in these players that are from around the world, if not just to play in events, but to have them actually working here as part of our team's training here, representing our sponsors, all these different things. So it's certainly an issue, and one that we spend a lot of time trying to tackle and make sure that our players are not impacted, because that's at our core what we see our responsibility as, is making sure that our players have nothing to worry about in esports other than playing the game, being the best that they possibly can, representing us the right way. We don't ever want them having to worry about visa issues. That should be something that we're able to take care of, but sometimes it's out of our control. And it sucks when that happens, and we feel very bad, but we're honestly trying as much as we possibly can. And there are times in which the three of us are working stupid hours trying to find 5 backup options in case the first 4 went sideways. It's difficult, really difficult.
Well, as we're gonna continue that, I'm sure this is not be the last time we'll have Beef's favorite segment.
This has been Beef's Visa Corner.
Yeah, Beef's. What grinds my gears?
You really don't want to start that show.
No, we don't. Up next, we have SirNanu from Discord. Will you guys go into Apex? This is one a lot of people have been messaging us about lately. I'm sure every organization's getting hit up about this. Soren, I asked you this question yesterday. When are we getting into Apex? Or are we?
I feel like I answered this question about 3 different games by now. We're evaluating the space. We're looking into it. No, like seriously, it's obviously a phenomenon, but
it's an exciting game.
The next question pokes at the same thing. Like, how long are we looking into a scene to develop, and how quickly do we jump into it? And it kind of depends on a multitude of things. Like with
it just feels like a premature question.
Yeah, with Apex, for example, it just blew up out of nowhere. The game was the game was released and everyone was playing it first. Paid advertisement. And now most streamers stuck with it because the game is actually really, really fun. You have a publisher behind it that is massive with EA. You have a game that is like a mix out of all the BR games that we've seen so far outside of Fortnite building. But you have like a very good shooting system. You have a very like fast-paced movement style. You have games that last for like 20 minutes. You have different like MOBA aspects of the characters and everything. So the game is definitely has potential, but we don't know what it's going to look like. We had the Twitch Rivals today. That's the first competitive scene. We don't know what EA is going to do with it. We don't know what other publishers or other event organizers are going to do with it. So obviously we're looking into it, if nothing else, solely for like find a good streamer or try to lock down a team early on. But no one really knows what the game is right now outside of it's really fun.
Well, even comparatively to Fortnite, I think for a lot of us, it was not until they announced the $100 million did everyone be like, okay, this is like now bigger than just a bunch of streamers playing it, right? Like,
yeah,
just the big numbers and really impressive stuff.
It's this thing we had with BRs for a very long time. They're very, very, very fun to watch and very fun to play. But once you get into like a competitive system, we talked about this, I think, like months ago on the show. I don't think anyone has really figured out a way to like account for the variance of it. Like, you find weapons, not every time you go to a certain place you found the same weapon. Sometimes people drop at the same location and you die first. Like that entire system hasn't really been figured out. And now we have just another BR game that is really, really fun. But I don't think the core issue of how do we make this an esports and how do we make this competitive has been figured out yet.
Yeah.
Fortnite hasn't. PUBG hasn't.
I guarantee you, though, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people out there actively working on BR titles that are all thinking that same question.
Yeah.
How do we make this into a truly competitive, eliminate as much RNG as possible, and see who's the best player in our BR game?
I mean, when we look at running community events or running tournaments or whatever, we're thinking the same thing. How do we get a sample size that doesn't take our community to play 8 hours a day for this tournament over a week so we know who's the best, but how can you fit it into like a small time frame that you know this is not a fluke, like this guy won 3 out of the 4 games. Like, it's very rarely ever happening if you have high skilled players.
Scott, what do you think of Apex, and what boxes do you think this Apex needs to check off, or a future BR game? What boxes they need to check to kind of truly be considered, a truly competitive game?
So it's everything that's been asked of Fortnite, like changes the community want to see, like that came out in Apex right away. So all these BRs are watching each other. So it's really on the community just to continuously play these games and figure out what we need. Like Fortnite just came out with a huge patch, changes with the plane and stuff the community wanted. And that's what's really going to shape the one game or all these games on how we're going to compete in the format. And I think I said this before, it goes back to CS, how CS it didn't used to be, 16 rounds. It was 11, it was 9. It changed through the years, and eventually we're going to get to our format. And you look at Apex with 25 million players in a week, there's going to be a lot of suggestions coming in and a lot of changes. But one thing I like is, squad dropping. That's one big thing. Now, one person's in charge and the 3 of you land together. So as a team in an esports competitive, we're already one step ahead of Fortnite. Did someone jump too early? Did they not glide fast enough? So that's a step in the right direction. And it's going to continue to go from there, pinging items on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Scott, I need heals. I'll ping it for you.
Ping system's awesome.
The ping system is amazing, and it brings more communication to your team to see stuff on the map instead of just saying he's in bunker or I saw him on the hill.
Yeah.
No, I know where he's pinged. Let me take out my sniper, scope in, and just, kind of military-esque, where they're going to give your coordinates where he is, and the missile's going to come from the sky.
And then from a watchability standpoint, some even big esports leagues right now, some of them I watch, and it's still games I love, but very hard to spectate. For this, compared to Fortnite, the movement of how fast you can move, what we were talking about with Rocket League earlier, I love how fast-paced the game is. I feel like when I watch streamers of this, just the pace of it is just so much more enjoyable to watch.
Well, it's in some BRs you can, drop in a far corner of the map and that circle's on the bottom right. You're not going to get there. So your game's kind of over.
It's true.
But in Apex, you can move and you're always in the fight no matter where you land.
Kyle, do you think they had planes in the game at one time and then took them out?
I mean, you have to so that you can drop, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of important.
They had vehicles and they're like, saw Fortnite do it and they're like, no,
There's lots of planes. It's part of the environment.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to put planes into the game.
Who's played it? Let me ask you that. I know I have.
I played one game last night after it took me 2 hours to get it to turn on.
Oh, that's right. I saw
I
it.
tried to download it yesterday and then I fell asleep.
I downloaded it, played the tutorial, and played one game.
We've been,
I've been really busy.
yeah. I gotta
Get
play
to play games all the time, folks.
I gotta play. So it's funny though. It does have a lot of bugs though. So I've played probably about 4 hours of it total since it's been out. It says on there I've played 56 hours, which is humanly impossible with my schedule. And then on there, sometimes they'll say I have 32 kills, and then sometimes they'll say like I have 1 kill. So it constantly changes. I
It
screenshot
sounds
it.
like an excuse for him actually playing all day at work. He's like, I've only played 1 hour. It's not 56.
Yeah,
At
no.
52.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the bugs in like a game not working like that, I didn't pay anything to get into it. So like that
don't
doesn't
care.
bother me if it was like,
Yeah.
I went to a store and paid $60 for a game and then it doesn't work. And there's 25 million people who are playing this game right now. So they're doing something right. Little bugs isn't going to affect them. And they're going to get them fixed though.
And I haven't had any in-game bugs. It's always
In-game is
on your way to
smooth.
get in-game is the issue. Once you're in-game, you're fine. So
And let's talk about scaling to 25 million players in a week. That's incredible.
do you think, how did they do it?
props.
Their marketing team is one of the best in the business.
Not just that, I'm talking technical scaling.
No, like
How are
server
you
space.
scaling up your servers to accommodate for all that without something going wrong?
Well, that's what a company like EA.
Years of experience with FIFA servers.
I mean, it's a lot.
They knew exactly how not to do it.
I mean, it's a lot of things. It's just they knew they had a good game, and they saw how Fortnite took off. So if they wanted to even be in the ring to compete with them, they needed to be ready to be the number one BR game, and they showed they were ready.
You think they just had to hit a benchmark? They're like, all right, if you hit this amount of users in X amount of time, we'll give you this this X amount of servers just instantly. I think EA just had like a bank ready to go.
They were ready for anything. Because if it started to grow, and then all of a sudden servers went offline and no one could play, sometimes you got one chance to get people hooked.
That's literally it.
I think it's day
So
two, there was one little hiccup for like an hour, and then it went right back up.
Normal, but if they hit like a server capacity where you had 13 million people trying to come in, there's a good chance half of those people will never come back again.
Yep.
And they caught it, and they were ready, and it's brilliant by EA.
It's been very impressive. Do you guys think it's a Fortnite killer, or do you just think it's a Fortnite chunker?
I'll know after season 8.
I don't think it's a killer to any of the BR games personally. You still have, going back to H1Z1, people are still playing it, still PUBG.
Really?
Blackout.
Yes.
I think it killed
H1Z1?
Yes.
I mean, Blackout doesn't have a shelf life like the other one. Blackout is a game inside a game that has a year to live. Like, you can't kill something that is basically on life support once it's starting.
But they haven't said that they're not going to continue to support it. Is it going to go free? I just don't see any BR being another BR killer. You're always going to have your community. Like Fortnite, how many players do they have? If they lose 10 million to Apex, they're still a massive game.
Yes.
It's not going to go
I don't think
anywhere.
it's a killer
No,
by any means.
I think it's
I
a
do think it's
contender.
going to chunk some.
Oh, of course.
It's going to chunk Fortnite.
What we also have to kind of take into consideration is that Fortnite basically was left alone for like a couple of months.
And had some really weak opponents.
Without any real competition. Like Blackout was there for like a week and a half. PUBG was there at the start, and now they have.
Hey, don't forget Danger Zone.
What's Danger Zone?
Counter-Strike.
CS.
Yeah, don't forget about Danger Zone.
That was like literally a day. You might have been traveling.
No, I think I was on the podcast commenting about that, but
Realm Royale.
I forgot. Oh God, beef.
Whoa,
Want to talk about Realm Royale?
Actually, Realm Royale's coming back.
Speaking about how fast we go into games, Beef wanted to go into Realm Royale. I was very hesitant, and I couldn't even finish my hesitation sentence, and that game was done.
It's actually back though. I think it's specifically within some geographical location. I don't know which.
Thailand?
I saw that it wasn't English.
Is it Thailand?
No, I didn't pay enough attention. But I saw that they were like 5 streams with over 1,000 viewers a couple days ago. So I think it's blowing up in some part of the world.
Sorry. You're going to say something you don't want to.
Hey, I wanted to draw the Han comparison with that is still alive in Han.
Han is still alive in Thailand.
So, Dota, Auto Chess, and Realm Royale. That's what we're getting prepped for.
You know what? I've been saying for months, if not years, we need some new esport genres. Battle Royale is not really a new genre. But
Dota Auto Chess is basically a card game.
Dota Auto Chess is some stuff.
But I think to wrap that all up is we look at every single game that gets announced, tested in alpha, beta, whatever it is, as it's our job to be ready.
Yeah, and we do it very seriously, especially with the BR games.
Yes.
Like the people that play the BR games are kind of the same people. So
Yes.
I, for one, got off a call this morning with someone that I talked not too long ago.
What's his name?
As a Fortnite. I'm not going to say the name, but that
His name's
is a
Nanja.
is a Fortnite guy, and his team consisted of out of 2 people that had previous experience in other BR games. So like it's just the same players being naturally good at this kind of genre that are coming over and over, going to the next game and like are still at the top level.
Not take. Go ahead.
The team that Rogue signed, which I believe was the first pro signing in Apex, is literally Huskers, who we almost signed back in H1Z1.
H1Z1, yeah, I
when he
remember
played
that
for
name.
like Pittsburgh Knights or something like that. We were gonna pick him up after that contract. So it's like they literally just move from one to another, and certain people are gonna have certain skills that translate to certain games better. But I mean, I can honestly say we've probably reviewed 50, 60 emails claiming to be top 10 Apex players already.
Yeah, some send screenshots, and now I know that the screenshots are sometimes buggy, so I'm questioning their kill
There you
count.
go.
Well, and
I
that's
think I had one guy tell me that he has like 320 hours of experience, and I'm like, I don't think the game's been out that long.
and not to extend the conversation because we're going to move on.
Well,
but,
if you watch and play at the same time.
There you go.
but I do.
48 and 24.
I think we are going to start to see players that play multiple BRs. I think we're going to see maybe someone who plays a PUBG and an Apex or
I mean, we already had that. I think Ninja won an H1Z1 event, and
Yes.
the next 2 weekends he was at PUBG events and won one of them too. I think one was Gamescom.
Yeah. You've seen people like Ninja playing Fortnite Blackout and PUBG all at the same time. Doc doing the same
All
thing.
at the same time.
But
Okay, I mean,
I'm
like,
talking about from like a
can afford
competing
3
standpoint,
computers.
right?
Damn.
Yeah,
Can you
like
afford
from an
3
org,
hands?
like an org having a team that can a group of 4 guys that go between two.
Oh, definitely.
2 or 3
I mean, I
different
think
titles.
Cloud9 or Liquid had people on their roster.
Liquid had Blackout.
No, Liquid has the same player that came from that they signed as an H1Z1 player. Then he moved to PUBG. Then he moved to Fortnite.
I mean, it's basically Super JJ for us.
Yeah.
So yes, Zach, it is very possible, and we probably will
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
we
the other
already
guy? I mean, you see cross esport athletes like the Splice Halo / COD team. How do those guys do? I haven't followed them since they made that announcement.
No idea.
Are they in the league?
No.
Well, then it didn't turn out great.
Nothing
example,
against Splice. I just have not paid attention to that roster. So
Their normal COD team is very good.
yes.
Their Halo COD team, I don't know anything about.
So to follow up, I'm not sure if we'll be able to get to all the questions today, but as we go, we have svmmyJ. As an organization, how much pressure do we feel to stay on top of new and popular games like Apex Legends? Did I mispronounce the name?
No.
No?
We
this
just
was
answered the whole question.
I know.
For the last
basically
20
the same
minutes.
question.
That was
I know.
I segued for you.
I know. Is it something like already paying close attention to, or do you give time to breathe and develop? Obviously, we've already announced. Obviously, we've already just talked about it just now. But I'll just quickly just ask Beef, is there any pressure to get into games like this? Just one simple question to kind of answer this.
Yeah, of course. There's fear of missing out. Like, you've already seen, 12, 15 teams that have announced, hey, I'm looking into players for this. Send me your resumes. As soon as TSM comes out and says, hey, we're looking to pick up an Apex player, that's like, well, you know that you're going to get 5,000 applications for TSM Apex. You've already got teams like NRG announcing Dizzy, pretty big signing.
Yeah.
You've got Rogue announcing their team. So I mean, this is 6 days after the game was like announced, released. Absolutely, there's fear of missing out. But at the same time, you need to avoid what we call running into beta all-stars, people that are very good at the game initially. And if you are going to pick up people early, I think both parties need to be aware that if the situation changes, if the direction of the game changes, if their skill proportional to what the rest of the audience is looking at changes, then we're going to change players at that point.
We also have the Road to Dr. Waldo from our Discord. Thoughts on the lack of NA CSGO major this year?
That sucks.
It's part of the system, and I think it happens. Of course, we would love to see a major here, especially in the States, but it's just we're out of cycle this year.
Yeah.
I think not having 3 majors in CSGO per year is sad.
Yeah, it's very sad.
Only 2 a year is sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think there needs to be a
it
third.
boosts the
There's so much
importance
hang
of
on
them,
just those two
but
things.
It does.
I feel like for this one, I'm not feeling the same hype as I felt for
London?
Katowice last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I feel like in London too.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is. I'm still paying the same amount of attention to Counter-Strike, but I feel like there's a lot more smaller tournaments. You see a lot more teams compete like almost every single time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. So I feel like that reducing the amount of majors maybe gives them that
Yeah.
bling back.
Well, I mean, I think the summer major is always the one that's a little bit more hyped. At least that's how I feel. I don't
And
know.
it was a bigger lead up for us personally into London. Like we had to win the minor, and then we had to.
That's true.
We would already be playing now in Poland, but we're in New Legends, so it's like we're still at a boot camp while the tournament started. So there's just not less hype because we're very excited to be in the position we're in, but we didn't have to
more
go
of a
through
journey.
a grind where we were on it every day. Like, all right, CS is playing, TV's on.
Yeah,
It was more of a journey definitely last year for us. So,
that's true. Yeah.
and then he also asked, "Will nothing drop a fire mixtape from Katowice?" I do not think so. From what I've heard from the boot camp, they're pretty focused right now. If nothing does rap at all, Sean will capture it. I can promise you that. Is Shaz still laughing about the bison joke? Yes, he is. Every time he sees it, that episode of POV, he does keep laughing about it. He actually reacted to the POV on his stream and laughed about the same joke again.
Who wrote that joke?
On
Did
stream.
you guys find that on the internet, or
Yeah.
did some of you geniuses write that one?
No, we found it on the internet.
I knew it was too good for you guys.
Yep, it was. But I had to search really hard for it. All right. What it really was is we're doing a dad joke segment, so you won't find this footage anywhere else other than POV because the whole video segment got trashed. It was a bad dad joke segment, and after 20 questions, they couldn't deliver the jokes correctly, so neither of them were laughing other than Shaz. So Shaz was just the one constantly laughing and losing because Def went in there, nothing went in there, so we had to just scrap the whole thing, and now you'll see it in POV. And how does it feel to see more North American teams rising up in the ranks? And how do you think it will affect the scene here?
It's amazing.
Within what game?
I think he's
CSGO.
CSGO.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always good to see the scene
Yeah.
rising, and it's just going to make us better. There's more teams to practice. You're getting in more scrims a day. It's kind of returning like where I came into gaming in Counter-Strike, where there's so many competitive teams. There wasn't just your 3 or 4, even your top 5. There was 15 or 20 that were exciting to watch and good, very good at the game.
Yeah, as a European, I got bored. So I'm glad you guys make a challenge.
Yeah.
I think we're going to end the episode like we did last week with me saying NA better than EU. No, it's not true in CSGO, but it's getting to where there's more degrees of parity.
And then we'll quickly wrap up with this question from Mandeep. And Mandeep, hopefully we can go more in depth in this and some other content that we do. But Mandeep's asking, what's your history with games first and the amount of gaming growing up? I guess we can just kind of go around and real quickly just say, like, what was our first big game? What was our first big game that got us into gaming? Like, first big couple games, and then the amount of gaming growing up. I guess I'll start. Like, mine was Halo was probably the first.
Let's do this in 10 words or less.
10 words or less. Okay, here we go. Meme review. No, Halo 2, and probably about 10 hours a week is growing
That's
up.
more than 10 words. You've lost.
I lost. Well, I got it out. Your turn,
Scott?
Keith. Oh, no, go Scott.
Backyard baseball. Not that much. Sports games.
Wait, what was the sports games one?
No, he's saying that was.
What's your history of video games?
Yeah,
10
Mandeep's
words or
question.
less.
Yeah.
First FIFA 98. A lot. RTS, RTS.
You cheated.
No.
Let's count 10 words. It's pretty close.
Real-time strategy. That's 3 words. Not
No.
What's an RTG?
Yeah, what's an
No,
RTG?
the role play games, like the
RPG?
RPG. That's the
I thought you were saying Road to Glory. I'm like,
yeah. I
this isn't
started with the
FIFA
Road to Glory, FIFA 98.
FIFA 98, Road to Glory.
All right, let's go. Expert.
Soren was the
10
original
words.
YouTuber. GoldenEye, no golden gun, no odd job. Nerds.
What about all your MLG World of Warcraft days?
I mean, I'm just memeing at this point.
It all started on N64.
Yeah, I actually wasn't allowed to play video games until N64.
I never had a console.
All right. Well, any final thoughts from the panel before we wrap up everything?
I was asteroids.
There you go. Doug, the
good,
producer,
Doug.
played Asteroids.
And that's the panel review.
Yeah, there we go. We got a full panel.
Thanks, Doug.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the press conference. Make sure you guys take to Twitter and Discord, because every single week, if you guys tweet it or send it to us, we're going to answer it. We'll see you guys later.